Hey everyone, it's your boy Siv and welcome to my first of many top 5, top 10, top something videos. With these videos, my hope is that you will be able to travel into my past and develop a, for lack of a better word, connection with myself and be able to enjoy and experience the same things I got to experience while I was growing up in this world. Now, in this video, we will be going over my top 5 TreeHouse TV shows that I enjoyed as a kid. And for those of you that don't know what TreeHouse TV is a Canadian-based TV channel that constantly has shows for kids around the ages of 1 to 7 years old. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Just making my number 5 spot is the Bearsden Bears, aka the rough, tough, and only bears that I know that live in a tree. I've always had mixed feelings going into this show, as I felt that the Bearsden Bears books really never did justice for me, for more reasons than one. But man, I didn't think for a second my tune could have changed as quickly as it did for this show, for any other show that I can remember. I mean, these bears have never ceased to amaze me in terms of the connection that they had with each other. But then again, maybe it was mainly because they were family members. Well, even if that was the case, how many families do you know that can get along as well as they do? Not too many, right? If anything, I think it just adds to the amount of props that we should be giving to the Bearsden Bears show and family as a whole, as they are a constant reminder on how special a family bond can be. Now you may be wondering, hey Siv, why do you have the Bearsden Bears ranked number 5 if you're going to hype them up so much? Well, I'm glad you asked, and to be completely honest with you all, it comes down to the moral of certain episodes. What I mean by this is that at certain times throughout the show, the moral of the story seemed undiscoverable, to the point that once you got that feeling that this was the moral of the story, boom, the writers hit you with the remainder scenes and sequences that almost changes the whole story completely. For example, I believe there was one episode where it focused around a green ghost-like creature. Let me know in the comments below if you know what that episode name is. But anyways, instead of the moral of the story being expect the unexpected, it was value treasures or something like that. And for a person like me who uses morals of episodes to improve myself so that I can be better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today, those types of episodes really didn't sit well with me and made me really confused for the next couple of days, and hence why the show is at the number 5 position. Coming in at the number 4 position is the blue dog that gave people quite a shock. That's right, it's none other than Blue's Clues. Now, this show has always played a big impact during my early childhood days. I'm talking around the time I was 3 to about 5.5 years old. During that time, and really when I think about it even now, I'm always a guy who looks for adventure anywhere and everywhere, and this show didn't disappoint me, especially when adventure was as dry as the Sahara Desert at certain points in my life. I mean, who couldn't love the intro theme song and the male theme song that the show provided? For those of you that watch the show, you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, it's all good. I'll be posting a link down below that gives you some perspective so you could be part of the family too. Anyways, even though the adventure aspects have been excellent, it is very hard to not notice the fact that the setting is very limited to Blue's house, front yard, and backyard. Don't get it twisted, there were more places that they visited, such as the picture frames, books, to name a few. But even in those situations, at max, we got to experience the environment for around 5 minutes. And for a person like me who loves adventure any way I can get it, I really felt that the writers or directors could have had more time in those settings, as it would have brought in an additional level of entertainment and excitement to the show as a whole. It is for this very reason why the Blue's Clues show are in my number 4 spot. Coming in at the number 3 position is the Adventurous Pig Siblings. No, I'm not talking about the pigs that snort all the time in Peppa Pig and her family, but instead the other pig brothers in Toot and Puddle. Yes, I'll repeat it again, Toot and Puddle. Now, if you don't know or have not watched the Toot and Puddle series, please do me a favor and watch at least any two Toot and Puddle's episodes of your choice after watching this video, because boy are you missing out. Now, with that out of the way, thinking back to the time I watched the Toot and Puddle series, I can honestly say that the series, no matter what episode it was, seemed to keep me on the edge of my seat regardless of how I was feeling at that certain point in time. I mean, the amount of craziness that these two brothers faced on a daily basis was enough for me to last a month. But with that being said, I always looked forward to more episodes like the ones that were given in the series, where there was a lesson in disguise at every turn. On that note, yeah, as mentioned before, I really liked the adventure aspects that both Toot and Puddle experienced. Well, mainly Toot, as Puddle seemed to be always at home, as well as the other types of situations they faced on a daily basis, cause looking back at it now, call me crazy, but those types of situations are actually happening to me in real life. So, cheers to the show for giving me a so-called heads up. Now, as for why I couldn't place the show higher than third on my list, it mainly came down to Toot and Puddle's travel ratio, as Toot seemed to dominate the adventure aspect significantly compared to Puddle. Because of that, I personally really couldn't get a feel or character sense of how Puddle was like on travel adventures that he had with Toot. I feel that if the show had more episodes of Toot and Puddle traveling together the road together, and I'm able to get a better idea of how their character traits were like during those travel adventures, I genuinely would feel that I would have ranked the show higher, as it would have taught me so much more than it has already. Not saying that it hasn't taught me anything already, but I feel like I could have learned much more and it would have helped me more in the long run. Coming in at the number 2 position is none other than the Backyardigans. I know, a lot of you might be surprised that this show is not at the number 1 position, but keep watching and you will find out why. First off, can we all give a round of applause to the authors, directors, and writers of the show for coming up with such creative and original settings for each of the episodes? I mean, that in itself, in my eyes, already is ranked in my top 5. But what made the show go up to the number 2 position was mainly the characters and the characteristics, and of course the comedy that came along with it was just the cherry on top. So for example, if we took Pablo, and for those of you that don't know the Backyardigan show, it was the penguin of the show, as an example, I personally could relate to his character on many levels, as I'm a guy who is energetic, outgoing, and I wouldn't be as panicked as Pablo is. But for a character to have the same characteristics as me in a show, that really hit me deep inside, cause finally I felt like someone else knew what I was going through on a daily basis. Now, as for why the Backyardigan show didn't reach the number 1 position, to be honest with you all, it was really hard to find a fault in it, but one minor detail that the Backyardigan show had that I wasn't a fan of was having way too much singing, to the point that once the characters entered a new environment, there was instantly a song that would follow that. With that being said, it came to a point where I felt that the songs were taking time out of the episode that could have been used to develop the story better, and as a result, it made the story feel incomplete to a certain extent, and hence, because of that, it failed to reach the number 1 position on my list. Now, before I get into my number 1 pick, I would like to shout out all the various TreeHouse TV shows in general, as there was a lot of shows, and each brought a different flair to the TV channel as a whole, and made the creation of this list more time consuming, but at the same time exciting for me, and I really enjoyed that part of it. Now, without further ado, the show that has obtained the number 1 position on my list is the boy that swings on vines and has a jaguar to give him a fun time. That's right everybody, it's none other than Go Diego Go! I mean, when I think of an ideal show that would greatly help me grow as a person as well as provide that comedic relief that I need at certain points in my day, I can't think of any other show that would check off all the boxes and at such a high level. This show, in my eyes, really brought out that sense that anything is possible as long as you give it 100%. And that is one of the main takeaways that I always try to achieve every day in my life so far. And cheers to continuing to be able to achieve that in the foreseeable future. In addition to that, another key positive that I liked was that Diego was always about saving animals, which is a given for being a ranger. But the connection that he develops with the animals is something that I try to implement in my life, whether that be meeting new people or just deepening the connection with friends that I already have in my life. So yeah, that concludes my top 5 TreeHouse TV shows that I enjoyed as a kid. If you're still here, thank you so much for tuning in till the end, and I really hope you enjoyed my top 5 picks. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you to all of you that viewed, liked, and subscribed to my channel. You helped me so much in more ways than one, and as always, until next time, stay safe and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care everyone.